The blind date was empty in a way that felt louder than noise, the kind of silence that presses against your chest and makes you question every choice that led you there. And as I sat at the small cafe table by the window, fingers wrapped around a cooling cup of coffee I hadn't ordered refills for, I wondered if this was the universe's way of reminding me not to hope too much, because hope had betrayed me before, often and without apology, and yet I had come anyway, dressed carefully, smiling politely at the waitress who kept glancing over with that look people give when they're trying not to pity you, and just as I was deciding whether to leave before the humiliation fully settled in, the bell above the cafe door chimed softly, followed by the unmistakable sound of tiny shoes scuffling across the floor, and when I looked up, my breath caught, not because of a man rushing in late, but because 3 little girls stood there together, perfectly identical, holding hands like a living mirror, curls bouncing, red sweaters bright against the warm cafe light, and before I could even process the confusion blooming in my mind, one of them, no, all of them, in practiced unison, looked straight at me with eyes far too knowing for their age, and the middle one spoke clearly and confidently, "My daddy's sorry he's late," and just like that, the air shifted, the silence shattered, and my empty blind date became something else entirely. People turned to look, curiosity lighting their faces, and I laughed nervously, assuming this was a mistake, maybe a game, maybe children sent to the wrong table, but when I tried to gently explain that they might be looking for someone else, the girl on the left tilted her head and said, "No, you're her," with certainty that sent a strange shiver through me, because no one had ever spoken to me like that before, like they already knew me, like I was part of a story already unfolding, and before I could ask anything more, they climbed onto the chairs across from me without waiting for permission, arranging themselves neatly, hands folded, eyes fixed on my face, studying me as if I were the one on a blind date with them, and I noticed then the small details, the faint scar on one girl's eyebrow, the way another swung her feet nervously, the third gripping a folded piece of paper like it was a lifeline, and when I asked where their father was, the girl holding the paper slid it across the table with solemn care, and inside, written in slightly rushed handwriting, were the words, "If you're reading this, then I messed up the timing, but please don't leave. I promise I'll explain everything. Thank you for giving a single dad a chance," and something about that sentence softened something hardened inside me, because it wasn't smooth or charming, it was honest, imperfect, vulnerable, and as minutes passed, the girls began talking about their favorite cartoons, about how their daddy makes pancakes shaped like dinosaurs even though they always come out wrong, about how their mommy used to braid their hair before she went to heaven. A sentence spoken so simply that it stole the air from my lungs, and suddenly this wasn't a blind date anymore, it was a moment suspended between past and possibility, grief and hope sitting at the same table, and when the cafe door finally opened again and a man rushed in, breathless, jacket half-buttoned, eyes scanning the room until they landed on us, relief flooding his face so intensely it almost hurt to see, he stopped short, taking in the scene, 3 daughters smiling, a woman he barely knew listening like it mattered, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between us, an understanding that life rarely arrives the way it's scheduled, but sometimes it arrives exactly when it's needed, and as he approached, apologizing over and over, explaining missed buses and spilled coffee and nerves getting the better of him, I realized I wasn't angry at all, because the emptiness I'd felt earlier had been replaced by something warmer, something alive, something that felt like a story just beginning rather than another one ending, and as we talked, really talked, not the polite small talk of first dates but the kind that reveals scars and hopes and late-night fears, the girls occasionally chiming in to correct him or tease him, I felt laughter return to places in me that had gone quiet for years, and when the evening ended and the girls hugged me goodbye without hesitation, as if we were already familiar, already connected, I walked out of that cafe knowing something had changed, that love doesn't always knock politely or arrive on time. Sometimes it walks in wearing red sweaters, holding hands, carrying an apology written on folded paper, and if this story made you feel something, hope, warmth, curiosity, or even a smile you didn't expect, then you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for, because here we believe the most powerful stories are the ones that remind us we're not alone, so don't let the next story arrive late. Subscribe now, and stay with us for more moments that turn emptiness into meaning.